One. Hey guys, what's up? Nico again here, and in this 3D Printed Profits episode, I have with us Chris. Chris, where are you coming from, man?
I am in New Jersey, Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
There's a lot of y'all New Jersey folk on my show.
Yeah.
A lot of business people up in New Jersey.
It's true. I see a lot of printers here. I also see filament companies right here in Jersey too. It's rare. Yep.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
So anyway, we have Chris on the show. He's going to talk to us about his business, how he got started, how he's growing the business, so on and so forth. Make sure you guys join us in the 3D Printed Profits side hustle group. Link for that is in the description below. And we're going to now join Chris as he enjoys his Frosty Flakes and bananas breakfast. So, Chris, let's start with your background, man.
Sure.
Before our talk, right before I started recording, it's obviously no longer a side hustle. Right.
This
so
is full time. Yep.
Take me to pre-full time and what was your background there?
Sure. Okay. So you're familiar with the Square card reader. It's a little reader that goes on your phone and you spin it. So I came up with an idea to make a better version of that for Square, but independently. And what it did was it made that little dongle not spin, because it was hard to swipe them in any way. So I came up with a little widget that was going to go between the phone and the Square card reader and to make it not spin, called Square Helper. So I came up with this idea and I'm going to make them. I'm going to make thousands of them. So I went to China, tried to source the injection molding, ultimately came home and realized that that was not really going to work, because just the dies and everything to make that for one size would be like $4,000 to $6,000. So I instead looked at 3D printing and said, if I get a 3D printer for $4,000 to $6,000, or get a couple of them, at the time they were more expensive. So I could then make the Square Helper for iPhones of every size, of Galaxies and all the other different phones and everything, instead of just one die. So I was really turned on to 3D printing, and it's variable, that I can print just about anything I needed. So anyway, I get together with MakerBot and I say, I want to buy a bunch of machines. So that happened. I made thousands of those little Square Helpers, sold them online at shows everywhere, ultimately became like a speaker for MakerBot. This was in the time of when MakerBot was really doing well. So I was a speaker for MakerBot, going to the stores, going to CES, going to different events for them, and telling the beauty of 3D printing in your garage and how you could make a business. So that's how it started. So I knew that would kind of run out at some point, because pretty soon we're just going to tap the phone you don't need a card reader anymore. And I knew that would have a certain shelf life. So halfway through that, I said, okay, what am I going to do now? I've got 10 3D printers. What am I going to do with these 3D printers? And I love toys. I love horror. I love, I take all my fandoms and I say, I'm going to start 3D printing my own designs and selling them online at Comic-Con conventions and stuff. So on the back of creating this thing for Square, which had a finite shelf life, I came up with the next act, which was making toys and 3D printed, even commissions for other people, jigs. There's you know this already, but there's 50
toys like this
ways.
guy.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So
I love this thing. So shameless plug.
Yeah,
Iron Man, MK3, Flexi,
course.
articulating.
Oh yeah,
it's my show. I can do as many plugs as I want.
Rocking good. So you know the beauty of that you could make whatever you want, however many as you want, in whatever color, and the variable, the idea of being able to print anything at any size with the same digital file. Like, I saw the beauty in that very early. So that was 10 years ago. So
that's a long time ago.
It was. This was in a time when MakerBot was just coming out and doing well and everything. This is in the time of like the Replicator 2. This is before Creality and all, before you could buy them at Micro Center for $100.
This was pre-consumer.
Yeah. So
I mean, MakerBot wanted to go consumer. They just couldn't.
Yeah. That's a sad story. That really went down in flames. But so yeah, after the Replicator 2, I consider them out of the game, because it was bad news. So in any case, I'm sitting there with these 10 machines. The Replicator 2 is still a workhorse. I still have, you'll probably see one over my shoulder. There's still one. I keep one back there. behind me. And so that's where it started 10 years ago. And then ever since then, I've been creating my own files, printing my own files, painting my own files, and going to Comic-Cons every weekend around the year. 52 weeks a year, I'm at a Comic-Con somewhere in the United States.
My
And
God.
it's every weekend. And sometimes it's two, where my wife will do one show, I'll do the other. So it's at least 50 shows a year. And the big ones like New York Comic-Con, San Diego, all the big shows. And in addition to that, we're selling online in every possible way you could imagine.
So with all of that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So with that amount of work, right? My guess is the income would be proportional. So give me just an estimate, right? A round number of how much you're making for the business.
Sure. Well, realize that it's the Comic-Cons are good business. They're fine. They do great on their own. But in addition, realize I'm doing Amazon, Walmart, eBay, Etsy, and my own standalone site. So there's 5 other arms that are bringing income to make this a full-time gig. I won't say it's an easy roadmap to make all those things happen. There's a lot of bumps in the road. There's a lot of problems to make that happen. But in any case, yes, my full-time gig. I have a family. Got to take care of the family. It's more than 100K a year in this business. But I'm deep in it. I'm
and you started with one replicator, right? With one MakerBot.
Yeah, started with one replicator MakerBot, and now.
And how much did you buy that MakerBot for?
2,400 for the very first
So
one.
essentially, right? Shit, 2,400, dude. You can buy 2 Bamboo X1s with that. So with $2,400,
yeah,
right? You essentially turned it into $100,000 a year business
over 10 years. So that's
right.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's a feat in itself, good sir.
Sure.
That is impressive. So congratulations is in order. Right?
Thank you,
That's a phenomenal thing.
Yeah.
I know people who have 10 machines.
Sure.
Don't break $1,000 a month.
Yeah, it really depends on what you're printing. I'll tell you, there's so one mantra of what I'm making is I don't make any object that is already in existence. If somebody already is making this thing, or if someone needs a cookie cutter or Mickey Mouse head, if you can buy that already in the market, I don't make it. That's it. So if I live by that mantra, it means that I'm the only one with that item, and it makes me unique. When I go into a Comic-Con, there's 50 vendors that have, let's say, Funko Pops, and there's 50 vendors that have T-shirts, and 50 vendors that have necklaces. I'm the only one selling my items. There's now 3D printers on the floor, but it's usually because they subscribe to a Patreon and they're all printing the same files. So I see the same files out there, and I don't imagine they're making enough money to pay a mortgage and stuff like that on the back.
Some of them are.
Well, I suppose you could, but when you're printing something that everyone else is printing, it's a lot harder to do that.
Right? I agree. So if you're selling the same product as everybody else, it is a lot more difficult.
Sure.
But from the people that I've interviewed,
sure,
some have become personal friends, and these guys are making damn good money, like damn good money.
Oh.
So how did you get your first clients and your first customers, right? So you have your MakerBot, you have your replicator. Right. How did it all start? Like you just, you know what, I'm gonna go to a Comic-Con and sell these things.
Yeah, well, it's both things hand in hand. The live shows along with the online sales, I have to do each thing equally, because the Comic-Con is about awareness and letting people know that 3D printing is viable, and look at the cool thing you can make. And I bring a machine and they can see it working, and they're like, oh, I've heard about this, but this is what it looks like, and it's, they can touch it and feel it, and oh, this is viable. And then the online sales is not so touchy-feely, but that brings in money. So I need to do both. So how do I get clients? Mostly by doing Comic-Cons and meeting people. At a Comic-Con, you'll find 100 artists in Artist Alley that have a unique character, Sinistar, or Schlack, or whoever their character is, and they need 10 or 100 of these figures or busts to sell on a small scale, or a small or big scale. But I meet those people at Comic Cons, I would say, for the most part.
I see. I see. So what filament are you, what, so you've graduated from your replicator too, is my
Sure.
guess, right? And I see it looks like a fleet of either Ender 3s or Elegoo Neptunes.
No, they are, let's see, over in this direction are all Prusas.
I see the Prusa, yeah.
Yeah, there's 20 Prusas, basically the MK3s, and then this side, this whole rack is all Enders, probably 10 Ender 3s, but I'm really liquidating them and basically giving them away to kids that want to learn about 3D printing and doing all Prusas.
Okay. So you have Ender 3s and Prusa. So how many machines do you have altogether?
About 40, because in a room over there is all CR10s. There's probably 10 CR10s to do big things like helmets and a lot of cosplay stuff. So altogether, about 40 machines running.
CR10s are a beast. I love my CR10s. I have, I just sold one this morning because I'm downsizing, but CR10 S4s are my go-to.
Yeah. Yeah, I use them a lot. I'll show you. Here's one.
He's stepping off screen. You guys just give us a second. If you're driving, just kind of listen to your voice. And
do like
there,
a full-size melted Vader mask, you really need something with a 12 by 12, platter. To cut that up and do it on a smaller machine is just a nightmare,
yeah, I agree. And
Yeah.
what brand filament are you using? You look like you have easy 100 rolls back there of unopened filament.
Yeah, sure. The one I'm using most now is called Printed Solid. They're right here. I'm in South Jersey. They're in North Delaware, so they're about 40 minutes from me. So they're also unique because they were just purchased by Prusa. So they're the first company, not first company, but the first location in the United States where you can buy a Prusa, you can have it serviced, you can do all that. So just by coincidence, they were friends before this, but they make their own filament in the US. It's very good quality. The winding is excellent. The ingredients are excellent. So they're called Printed Solid. Love them to death. Probably $20 a kilo, which is totally reasonable against anything you'll find on Amazon or anything from China. So almost everything there is Printed Solid. And they're also a Prusa dealer, which is a giant, upside for me when I need parts or I need something fixed,
Gotcha. So 20 bucks for a key.
Yeah.
That's South Florida lingo right there. 20 bucks for a key. It's not 20 bucks for a key, by the way. Don't teach your kids what that means. So you said you sell your own designs as well. Is that right?
Only printed designs. I don't sell the files.
You don't sell the files, but you do design your files.
I design everything I sell.
Okay. So what are you using for design?
Generally ZBrush if it's like human modeling. If it's a bust, if it's something human like that. If it's engineering based, it might be as simple as Tinkercad. Just go knock it out in Tinkercad in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I use Tinkercad.
It's awesome. I mean, it's the best value ever for this free program. It's remarkable. It looks like a kiddie program, but it's not. It is a workhorse. So I love Tinkercad, and I'm in it every day just to cut something up or do something easy. So Tinkercad's the winner. If it was a complex engineering, it might be Fusion 360.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's see. So do you have, how else does the business make money? Do you offer print or design services?
I have, and it's just a time suck, and it really doesn't bring the money in that is it. I generally figure that to print a unique design, a new design, it takes at least 3 iterations to make that perfect. And you really want, when a person wants something, they want a bust of their dad, or they want the bust of their dog or something like that, you'll never get the money back out of it. So I really haven't done that in some time. Let's say something there's a band called Guar, is like this heavy metal band with blood and all that stuff. So they needed something unique. I did it for them because they needed 300 pieces. So I still will do, I'll and they sell it as merch at the show. So there are times I'll do custom work, but as one-offs, it's really hard. It can be a
It's
time
so
suck.
hard to make money off one-offs.
It really is,
Unless you're asking me to do production per
Sure.
piece as well,
Yeah,
minimum 250 pieces,
it's tough.
then
Yeah.
there's no incentive for me to do it, because it pulls me away from my other businesses,
It's true.
and it's not it's just not a good time investment for me.
Yeah.
Right.
But you were asking, will I design for other people? And I'm telling you how that's a time suck. And it's a rare occasion that I'll say yes to that. But I will say, if a person comes to me with an STL and need one, or they need 100, that's a much easier proposition. I charge generally $3 per machine hour. If you have something that takes 3 hours to print, it's $9. Here you go. They give me the STL. I print them up. Whether it's 1 or 100, it doesn't really matter, and I just put them into the machines and go to town. So printing time is easy because I have a lot of machines, but design time, oh, that's dangerous.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Let's see. Earlier, you mentioned your income streams, and you mentioned Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
I have that on my paper here,
Sure.
and that is interesting. Can you tell me more about that?
Sure. Well, the long and short of it is, I start with a Shopify website, right? That is the hub of everything. So, I mean, these aren't really secrets. It's just what I've figured out that works best for me. I use Shopify as the hub. That's where I upload my photos, the description, the meta tags, But that Shopify store, that feeds all the other stores. I only keep inventory at Shopify. So at Shopify, it feeds the Etsy store with a click. One click populates the Etsy store, gives it the right inventory. The same thing with eBay, same thing with Amazon, same thing with Walmart. So if I have 100 pieces and someone buys one at Etsy and at Walmart, it shows me I have 98 pieces. So it's one hub, feeds everything. And it was really one click to populate the Walmart store. You have to apply as a seller, it takes some hoops to jump through. You have to have a business ID, the EIN number. You got to have,
you got to be legit.
You got to be legit. Yeah. But in the end, I don't manage 5 stores. I manage one store, and it feeds 5 stores.
I did not know you can sell on Walmart.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. It was very much like the Amazon selling experience. It was the same. It was almost a template of what I did at Amazon. They asked for the very same thing at Walmart.
Well, I'm sure it was I'm sure Amazon outsourced that development there, and Walmart just kind of found out who it was and said, "Hey, build the same shit for us."
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, that would just be the smart thing to do, right?
Sure.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is so cool that Shopify is the central hub,
That's
and it feeds everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, there's other.
And so what? My guess is that there's an app for that. What app are you using that feeds all these guys?
Right. So from Shopify, you look through the apps, and there's one called Cadisto. Cadisto is an app, and that will feed Amazon and Walmart only, specifically. Then there's a separate app. I don't remember the one for eBay, but the one for the one that feeds Etsy is called, hold on, maybe I should just look it up.
So there's one for Etsy, one for eBay.
Yeah, the one for Etsy, what is that called? Bear with me 1 second. You can edit this dead time out later if you like. So what is that?
So Shopify, you guys, while Chris is looking for this, pay attention to me for a second. Shopify has these apps that make your website so much more powerful, right? It allows for you to sell digital downloads. It allows for you to connect your website to a mailing address. So, I mean, there's a lot of apps for things, right? And that's what I mean when I say app for Shopify is it allows for your e-commerce website housed in Shopify to go to Walmart, eBay, Etsy, Amazon, so on and so forth.
Fill those stores up. Yep.
And it connects automatically for you. So all you need to do is to manage your one Shopify store,
right,
but you have traffic from Walmart, Etsy, eBay, so on and so forth, right?
So I found the info.
And there you go.
So Codisto, 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 that one feeds
Codisto.
exactly, and that feeds Amazon and eBay and Walmart. That does 3, and the other one is called Etsy Marketplace. Etsy Marketplace. Give me a second for the Etsy one. It is called CED Commerce. CED Commerce. And that's similar. It's an app that you load up inside of Shopify, and it will feed you give it the credentials from your Etsy store, and it will push the images, the everything, the description, the meta tags, but I should warn you that each one of those things, Codisto and the CED Commerce, they're a monthly fee. It's usually like a $50 fee to start, and then for every sale they make, they take like 2% or some small fee, but it's well worth it to manage one store instead of 5, right? Yeah.
The convenience is so worth it, especially if you're getting traffic from Walmart. You guys, I don't think you understand how big this is. You're getting traffic, you're getting free traffic from Walmart. Damn it. Okay. You guys, I really hope people paid attention to this episode, because this episode is going to end up being one of the most helpful ones.
Oh, rocking.
So Chris,
I'll tell you though, Walmart is not the biggest of the bunch. I think it's
really, it's not.
No, it's not, because I don't think people are looking for handmade goods at Walmart. At Amazon, the audience will look for some handmade goods, and they're okay with it. So Amazon is the biggest winner of the bunch. Etsy.
So Amazon handmade is the biggest winner of the bunch, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's not called handmade. I just mean that the audience at Amazon is okay with buying something that was handmade.
Okay.
Whereas Walmart
Interesting.
People, yeah, it is. It's very interesting. When I look at it, there's Etsy, eBay, and Amazon against the 3. We could talk about that for about 20 minutes, because it's the same item. I'll sell the very same item, packaged the very same way, and the Etsy person expects it to be handmade and wrapped in newspaper, and they're overjoyed. And the eBay person is like a garage sale, and they're still happy to get it, but they want to talk you down on the price. And Amazon, they want it to be in a finished box. So like the same item, I have to make sure all 3 kind of sensibilities is dealt with and served. So it's kind of interesting. The same item sold in 3 different places. You gotta make sure that
the psychology of it is very interesting.
A little bit, yeah, it's interesting. So since if you find that interesting, it's a very similar situation with shipping, because I'm shipping from 5 different stores. If I had to go to each store and ship, and the labels and I'm using ShipStation. So if you use ShipStation, it will import all 5 stores independently, but put them in one list, and there'll be a little icon to tell you where it came from, but it treats them all as if they're the same, and it makes life so easy.
ShipStation. ShipStation is a great
import
great
all your stores to one
software.
It's great. Same thing.
Those are the tech stacks that you're using, right? So you're using Shopify, you're using Codisto, you're using CE Commerce, you're using ShipStation. What else are you using?
I would say that's about it. That's my daily. That's it. Shopify. I'm looking at my tabs right now, and those are the ones that are always open in order to get orders out. Yeah.
Cool stuff, man. So what's next for you, dude? What's the direction the company's headed? What do you plan on doing?
Well, I've added an employee to help me manage the machines and the prints and the finishing of everything, because some of the stuff gets paint jobs and things like that. So I've hired a person there, and I've hired somebody to help me do the live shows. So slowly but surely, I'm getting other humans, on board to help me do this stuff, because until
so you're removing yourself from the equation and you're putting yourself as director, eventually CEO, and you're just managing people at that point.
Yeah, I wouldn't say remove, because I'm still at shows, I'm still there, but I now have a helper. At home, I'm still here, but I have a helper. So I'm just spreading myself a little thin. I have been spreading myself thin, but now I have help. I've welcomed the help. Until now, I've said I could do it all myself, and for 10 years, that's the way you got to do it. But now it's time. There's enough business to say, I need some help.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet, man. Well, let's wrap this up with your number one tip for anyone who wants to start their own 3D printing business.
Make your own designs. Or if you don't have the skill to make your own designs, hire someone through, I got one for you, Fiverr. Go to Fiverr, Fiverr, and there are plenty of beautiful artists out there that can make what you need made, whether it's a bust or a light switch cover or a plaque or anything. But use your own designs, because otherwise you're not bringing anything new to the market, and you're going to have somebody standing next to you selling the very same thing, and you're going to fight with each other over price. And then he's at $20, you're at 18, then he's at 16, and you're at 14. Like, that's a fight that I don't want anything to do with, so make your own designs, the biggest tip I could say.
There you go. I know someone who's teaching Blender.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. He does it free. There might magically be a link in the description for a free workshop,
Oh, fantastic. Yep.
So anyway, you guys, yes, I am doing a free workshop. Link for that is in the description below if you guys want to learn how to use Blender and make your own designs. So
Perfect.
Chris, thanks so much for being here, man. Phenomenal stuff, dude. Congratulations. And great information, dude.
Well,
the whole Shopify branch out to
yeah.
I really, really hope you guys paid attention to this one. Some of you guys are clicking off at like 13 minutes. Don't do it. There's a lot of information comes in the back end. So anyway, Chris, again, thanks for being there. Congratulations. We'll check in with you in, I don't know, 6 months, maybe a year, see how things are going.
Excellent. Well, thanks for the time.
Hey, man, thanks for being there. I appreciate it.